Welcome to rainy Grambling, Louisiana, and the Hole, as our 2-1 Tigers host the Panthers of Georgia State. It's the battle of GSUs. First quarter action, Gross drops back, tries to scramble right, but big Brandon Varner is there to get the sack. Next play, Gross makes up for it. He drops back, sheds one tackle, then breaks another and gets tripped up by Pargo after a 20-yard gain. The drive would stall and the Panthers were forced to punt. Higgins back deep to receive the kick. He starts right, cuts it back across the field. He turns on the Jets. He gets to the corner, turns upfield, and puts a move on the punter. He could go but he's tripped up after a 66-yard return. GSU's offense takes the short field. Brooks takes the handoff up the middle, bowls over a defender on his way to 12 yards. Late in the drive, CB23 punches it in from 2 yards out. Grambling strikes first, 7-0. Next Georgia State possession, Gross drops back, and here comes the rush. Clark gets to him, and it's a fumble. Varner scoops it up and almost takes it back to the house. A couple plays later, Higgins takes the counter right, and nobody is home for the Panthers. Higgins dives into the end zone, 14-0 Grambling State. Panthers look to bounce back. Gross drops back, scrambles up the middle. He sheds a tackle and gets brought down after a 12-yard gain. Then Gross drops back again, moves around in the pocket, lobs it to the outside, but is picked off by John Nichols. That's the junior's second INT on the season. Tigers look to extend their lead. Austin drops back and hits Jordan. He gets the first and tack on 15 more for the face mask. Next play, Austin goes back to the air. He hits Gunn on the curl route. The freshman picks up 15. Then Austin goes back to the air and throws a dart to DJ Clark. He gets down to the 1 yard line. Next play, Austin would connect with Route in the end zone. Grambling takes a 21-0 lead. Georgia State looks to get things going. Gross drops back and hits Hart on the slant. The wideout turns it upfield for 21. Then Gross drops back, jumps for no reason, and bounces it to the outside. The QB turns it upfield, avoids Tigers defenders, and picks up 22. A few plays later, Gross with the deep drop. He dances around in the pocket, somehow gets away from the rush, slides, and picks up the first down. Then on 3rd and long, Gross finally throws the ball and tosses a great back shoulder fade to Hart in the end zone. Panthers get on the board. Grambling looks to get a drive going. Austin connects with Higgins over the middle for 8 yards. Then Austin drops back and hits DJ on the curl. He's able to pick up 16 and the first. A few plays later, Austin shows off his wheels, keeping the option right and gaining 11 yards. The drive was stalled and Orozco comes on to kick a 40-yard field goal, and he misses right. No good. The Panthers look to capitalize. Bateman takes the delay and gets some great blocking from his line and picks up 15. Then Gross drops back. He finds a crease and takes off. He sheds one tackle and gets dragged down after picking up 11. Next play, Gross keeps the option left. And check out the blocking downfield. The QB finds a crease and walks into the end zone. Panthers cut the lead to 7. Grambling would come out running. Brooks takes the handoff, makes a cut, and drops his shoulder for a 9-yard pickup. Then check out this throw from Austin to Gunn. How did he catch that? The freshman-to-freshman connection leads to 14 yards. Couple plays later, Higgins takes the counter right, starts inside, bounces it outside, and gets tripped up after picking up 11. Later in the drive, Brooks would get his second TD on the day, this time from 4 yards out. Tigers go back up 14. The Panthers look to put some points on the board before the half. Gross hits Hart on the slant for 18 yards. Then Gross drops back and then just takes off. Tommy Gross is carving the Tigers D up with his scrambling ability, this time for 15. Next play, Gross goes back to the air and hits Hart on the comeback for 15. The Panthers would settle for 3, but the Tigers would go into the half up 28-17. Grambling has to find a way to contain Gross and his scrambling ability in the second half. Start of the third, Charlie Brooks comes out running hard. He goes up the gut for 12. A few plays later, Higgins gets into the act. He gashes the Panthers D for 11. Then Austin goes back to the air. He drops back and hits Jackson across the middle for a 21-yard gain. A few plays later, Austin shows off his touch, hitting Salmon on the corner route for 14. Then Phil shows off his scrambling ability and gets into the end zone. Grambling goes up 18. The Panthers go 3 and out, and Austin goes back to the air, scrambling to his left and throws a laser to Jackson for a huge gain. Next play, Austin with the deep drop, and he throws a rainbow shot to DJ, and he catches it. 38 yards to the house. Grambling State extends their lead. Georgia State looking to answer. Gross drops back and lobs it to the outside for Gentry. Bridgewater misses the pick, and Gentry turns it upfield. He gets pushed out after a huge gain. Then Gross goes back to the air, has all day in the pocket. Finally throws it to Knight, who picks up 15. A few plays later, Gross goes play action and hits his big tight end Works in the back of the end zone. 42-24 Grambling State. The Tigers offense still clicking. Higgins takes the handoff, makes a cut and another, and picks up 12. Then Phil Austin would drop back and hits Khalif Salmon across the middle, this time for an 18-yard pickup. A few plays later, Higgins takes the counter right, and look at the patience. He turns on the Jets, fights his way into the end zone. TD number 2 for number 4. But the Panthers are still fighting. Gross drops back. He breaks the pocket, gets away from Carey, and turns a potential loss into a 23-yard gain. A few plays later, Gross goes back to the air, hitting Devin Gentry on the slant for 14. Then Gross would get his 4th passing TD on the day, hitting Hart in the end zone. 49-31 Grambling. Tigers look to put the game away. Higgins is taking full advantage of this counter run. He picks up 11 and the first. Then Austin drops back and hits Gunn on the curl for 12. A few plays later, Austin drops back. He scrambles to his right, sets his feet, and throws it deep to Brooks. The big back makes the catch and bowls over a quarter. Oh my God, it gets into the end zone. Grambling breaks 50. Check out this truck move. My goodness, Charlie Brooks. Each team will go on to score one more time, but Grambling goes on to win big, 63-38. What a day for the offense. Austin finished 20 of 26 for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. Charlie Brooks had another huge day, 22 carries for 145 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. He also had 1 receiving touchdown with the highlight of the year so far. William Higgins had a great day as well, 11 carries for 85 yards and 2 impressive touchdowns. Shout out to Clark, Rout, and Brooks for each catching a touchdown this week. On defense, Deontay Bridgewater led the way with 7 tackles. Clark and Varner both had 2 sacks apiece, and John Nichols had the lone interception on Gross. What a great showing by the G-men, but now it's time to head out on the road and get ready for our tough matchup with the Trojans of Troy. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. Coming up in the Tigers Den podcast, we recap our win, check out the recruiting board, and scout the Trojans. We'll talk soon. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.